The year was 2006, and I was leaving a Warped Tour show in Tinley Park, Illinois. Before leaving the gate, some random dude was handing out compilation CDs from various labels. This is where I found some of my all-time favorite bands, like Seosin, Emery, and Shad K. One of those CDs had a little band by the name of The Forecast on it. When I first listened to Roots, I was instantly hooked and picked up In the Shadow of Two Gunmen. Their southern indie rock influence spoke to me in a way no band ever did. While I've loved their music for many years, I never knew about the band's story and how they came to be. It's a rough one, with many setbacks, but their strength as a band is inspiring. So let's talk about it, and give The Forecast their flowers they most certainly deserve. This is the story of The Forecast.
So we're The Forecast from Peoria, Illinois. Down here in the hotness of Florida.
The story of The Forecast begins in Peoria, Illinois, in 2001. The band consisted of Dustin Addis, guitarist and main vocalist, Jared Grabb on guitar and vocals, Marcia Satterfield on bass and vocals, and Reese Miller on drums. For the first 2 years, they made a name for themselves within their hometown and surrounding areas. On May 20th, 2003, their first EP, Proof of Impact, was released on Thinker Thought Records, a small label out of the band's hometown. Dustin has stated that this was the turning point for the direction of the band's sound. In February 2004, The Forecast and Montana's 790 Club released a split together through Thinker Thought Records. They soon went on a small tour in July. While on tour, staying at one of the band members' aunts and uncle's house, the band loaded their equipment into their garage and wrote the song Red as the Moon, which was part of the This Is Indie Rock Volume 2 compilation. Red as the Moon would be the last song written with the original members of the band. After this tour, things started falling apart. Reese Miller leaves the band to pursue his college journey. To remedy the situation, Dustin reached out to Tony Peck, who played drums for the junior varsity at the time, via MySpace messages, asking him if he wanted to be in the band. Peck agreed, as they both felt that they had good chemistry playing together. However, Marcia and Jared decided to also leave the band, due to differences in the band's personal direction. This didn't stop Dustin and Tony, however, as they played their next tour, again with the 1090 Club, as acoustic sets. Most of the songs on Late Night Conversations was written on this tour in the back of the 1090's van through the West Coast. When the tour was over and the boys came home, Dustin reached out to Matt Webb and Shannon Burns, who were playing guitar in the band Casting Lines. Dustin asked Shannon to play bass instead, and she quickly learned how to play. After a month of practicing and writing the rest of the songs for Late Night Conversation, they called up Thinker Thought Records to record Friendships Ruin Relationships, released in February 2005. While Friendships Ruin Relationships was out, Victory Records were sent their demo through a friend of the band, and they wanted to sign them immediately. They sent their demos to other labels, but Victory was the most aggressive and well fit. They soon signed to Victory with a 2-album contract.
Victory.
A few months later, on May 17th, 2005, Late Night Conversations was released to the world. They would soon begin touring for 8 months, starting in October 27th, 2005, and lasting till around the end of May of 2006. Many bands such as Spitalfield, Bayside, Valencia, June, This Day and Age, and others shared the stage. The Forecast would then head back to the studio and record their second album on Victory, In the Shadow of Two Gunmen.
Sometimes I don't think people outside of bands realize like how hard touring can be sometimes. It's a lot, but we love what we do, and but it's all about taking care of each other and taking care of our friends.
Here's some fun facts about the album. The song And We All Return to Our Roots was written as a band. The two music videos for Roots and Some Things Never Change were shot in the same day in Peoria. Some Things Never Change was shot at Dustin's grandparents' barn. Right after Shadow was released, there was a big fallout with Tony Brummel, founder of Victory Records. So the band decided they wanted to leave Victory. However, in their contract, it stated that they had to wait 18 months after the second album to release new material. So they got busy touring from May 2006 to December 2007, playing with acts such as Motion City Soundtrack, The Hire, Sherwood, Limbeck, Hot Rod Circuit, and others. After the 18-month drought, the band was able to release some new tunes. Their first release post-Victory was their self-published EP, Alive for the First Time. The track list included 2 new songs, Say You Miss Me and A Better Man, 2 acoustic versions of May You One Day Carry Me Home and Roots, as well as a cover of Tom Petty's You Wreck Me. The artwork was also made by Shannon herself. After this release, the band played some small tours and did small jobs around Peoria to save money for the recording of their next album. They would begin by signing to Kearney, New Jersey label Eyeball Records in January 2010. Eyeball Records was also a part of Warner Brothers. Fun fact about the label: some of the first bands from this label were recorded in an apartment unit in New York City. They had a pretty good track record, releasing albums from Thursday and My Chemical Romance. On February 16, 2010, the Forecast self-titled album was released. It wasn't all sunshine and rainbows, however. A few weeks before the album came out, Eyeball Records folded. This left the band without promotional help and stress, as they had to do everything independently. Luckily, through all the hell, the band got full rights to their work. After the record released, Matt Webb decides to leave the band. He felt pretty frustrated with the band's direction and their journey so far. Not only that, but while playing South by Southwest, their van got broken into, and they lost a lot of personal stuff. The tension was there, but the band carried on. They soon replaced Matt with Kevin Ollis from the band Grayson. After their tour to support their album, Dustin decided to move to New York and became a band manager. At this time, Dustin lived with John and Dan from LA's The Seams. They would write songs together, and some of those songs would land on the band's next album, Everybody Left.
From the band that brought you late night conversations, In the Shadow of Two Gunmen, their self-titled and other random records brings you their next highly anticipated release, Everybody Left. Critics across the globe are imploding when they hear it, a phenomenon being called Spontaneous Forecast Mega Implosion Effect, or SMEH. No comment has been made from the band. Until this very now.
And then I'll take a swing at Kevin and fucking leave.
Nice, I like it.
Tony, Shannon, and Kevin all flew out to record this album. Most consider this their farewell album, with many of the songs packing references and Easter eggs. Dustin stated that it was never meant to be a final album, as they never really even considered themselves broken up. After the album releases, Dustin decides to leave the band, and their long hiatus begins. During this hiatus, the band played shows every once in a while, playing in their hometown or festivals. It was a long 12 years without any new music from the Forecast, and people thought that they were gone forever. But in 2023, the band got together and recorded more songs. These songs would be featured on their latest album, Good Journey, on February 9th, 2024. At the time of me writing the script, they planned to play at the When We Were Young Festival in Nevada on October 19th and 20th of this year. I've always considered myself a big fan of the Forecast. Late Night Conversations and In the Shadow of Two Gunmen are some of my most played albums front to back. The song West Coast is an inside joke between one of my best friends and I. The acoustic version of May You One Day Carry Me Home will most likely be played at my wedding. Learning about the band made me want to listen to their newer music more closely. Their strength they had when labels threw them around, the loss of band members, and having to wait to release music was and is inspiring, never giving up. But what I like most about the Forecast is them always sticking to their roots. They do what they love and love doing it. Maybe we can learn a thing or two from that. Maybe then we can find a little place of our own where we can rest our heads. Thank you for watching.
We're proud of where we're from, you know, coming from the Midwest and like everything that goes into that, you know, coming from small towns, like in the sense of family that we all have, like all of our friends in town or, you know, in our family in general. So it definitely shapes the way like this band, I think, thinks about things and the way we operate. You know, we operate with, you know, small town mindset, just like doing what we want and trying to reach our goals.
One of the other questions I really like to ask is just like who or what have been your big influences, specifically not musical influences? So you can't say, we listen to a lot of the Smiths.
Like influences, like
just like in your lives,
in my life?
what's been a big influence to, you know, get you to the point where you're now sitting in the basement of the High Dive?
I would say friends.
Yeah, I mean, just kind of the town we come from, like all of us. He lives like 3 hours south of us, but
I mean, I would say it's close to the same reason, though. I mean, like, you know, we've all been there. Like, we all grow up, and like we watch our friends pretty much die and give up, like inside, you know. Like,
so we just kind of want to give them hope, I guess. Like that you can do it, man. Like you can do this. We can do it. You can do it. So that has a lot to do with it, I think.